Naruto: the parallel comparison that made Konoha panic. The live stream suddenly interrupted the Chunin Exams, showing two completely different lives of Naruto Uzumaki. First, there is the Naruto from the original world. Many suspected he grew up under the influence of Kotoamatsukami. He went from being a despised, bottom-ranked fox demon to the revered Seventh Hokage, relying entirely on his persuasive words and basic martial arts skills. Then, there is the Naruto from the parallel world. He has shown normal human intelligence ever since he could remember. While striving to improve himself, he also kept a detailed record of his enemies, quietly awaiting a future reckoning with Konoha. Upon learning of his true origins, he single-handedly revived the Uzumaki clan. Let's look at the reactions from the watching world. Tobirama Senju. Naruto Uzumaki was born evil. He actually dared to flirt with Tsunade right in front of us. Hashirama Senju. Tobirama, quiet down. We are already dead. Madara Uchiha. Black Zetsu, please just die first. Kushina Uzumaki. As expected of my son. We must rebuild the land of whirlpools. Minato Namikaze. So, it turns out I am actually Minato Senju. Kagaya Otsutsuki. I understand the reasoning, but why is it that even I? Chapter 25, The Little Girl Under the Streetlight. The black-framed screen of the alternative world continued to play. Oh, Naruto replied indifferently. Ah? Hiruzen Sarutabi's smile froze. Seeing this, Naruto was suddenly startled. No, if I don't pretend to get into it, will that old man get angry and find other ways to scheme against me? Thinking of this, Naruto quickly changed his tone and said, the will of fire is so amazing. As long as I understand the will of fire, I can be happy, and everyone won't hate me, right? Hearing this, Hiruzen Sarutabi's eyes lit up, and he nodded with deep affirmation. Then, he added with more emphasis, Naruto, do you know what those stone statues above the village represent? The Hokage? The strongest person in the village? These two thoughts flashed through Naruto's mind, but he still shook his head. He didn't want to act too interested, because the difference between his previous and current reactions would be too suspicious. Naruto, the people carved up there are all great heroes who protected the village. Really? Speaking of which, old man, you look a bit like one of them, Naruto said. In Naruto's opinion, this was a subtle compliment to the old man. However, what Naruto didn't expect was that the old man in front of him really was one of them. You noticed that? Hiruzen Sarutabi proudly lifted his chin, seemingly affirming Naruto's insight. Where Konoha dances, fire will burn on. Naruto was truly surprised. How could such an old thing be carved up there? No, this old thing really is the third Hokage. In an instant, Naruto glanced with some lingering fear at Hiruzen Sarutabi, who was still chattering endlessly about the will of fire. I didn't expect this old thing to really be the third Hokage, the leader of those bastards. But he doesn't seem powerful at all. Naruto pondered for a moment and suddenly realized that the noise in his ears had stopped. He looked up and saw Hiruzen Sarutabi smiling at him. Without even thinking, Naruto subtly adjusted his emotions and said, so that's how it is. Old man, you're really amazing. Upon receiving Naruto's compliment, Hiruzen Sarutabi lightly coughed twice. Do you want to become a person like that too? Yes. Naruto quickly replied. Confirming that the person in front of him was the mastermind, Naruto's attitude completely changed. Very good. Then, Naruto, you need to understand one principle. It's not about becoming Hokage to gain everyone's approval. Rather, it's about gaining everyone's approval first, then you can become a great hero and Hokage who protects the village. Naruto remained silent for a moment before quickly nodding. I understand. By the way, old man, are you the strongest person in the village? Of course. Not only that, I'm also the strongest of the 4 Hokage. The scene on the black-framed screen stopped abruptly, identical to the final scene on the golden-framed screen. the entire ninja world fell into a collective silence. This old man, whether it was the golden world or the black world, was equally dark and thick-skinned. Seeing himself verbally declare that he was the most powerful one again, Hiruzen Sarutobi couldn't help but blush. Meanwhile, Orochimaru burst out laughing. He had originally planned to use Edo Tensei on the first Hokage and reveal Hiruzen Sarutobi's self-proclaimed title of the God of Shinobi right in front of him. Now, this could almost be considered Hiruzen saying it himself, not just once, but twice, and in front of the entire ninja world. At this moment, the golden-framed screen buzzed and a new scene appeared. Is this continuing with the Naruto of our world? It looks like it. On the screen, Hiruzen Sarutobi waved at Naruto. It's getting late, I should go. The seed of the will of fire had been planted, and Naruto also cherished him as his only true light. Today's goal had been achieved. Goodbye, old man. Naruto waved his small hand, bidding farewell to Hiruzen. However, not long after sitting down, Naruto's stomach rumbled loudly. He was at an age where he naturally ate a lot. After a busy afternoon, he had only eaten one skinny grilled fish, so it was no wonder he was hungry. But Naruto's face was beaming with a smile. Gaining everyone's approval, huh? I can definitely do it. In the chat room, the reactions poured in. Onoki commented, see? The shameless third Hokage. Maiterumi added, oh my goodness, how can there be such a shameless person? Aino Yamanoka yelled, you hateful old thing, you have no worries about food and clothing, yet you steal the fish a child worked hard all afternoon to catch. Quickly return Uzumaki Kushina's inheritance to Naruto. After receiving her mother's assurance and the reward from the comparison viewing system, Aino was clearly bolder. Hiruzen Sarutobi's face immediately darkened. He glanced down toward Inoichi Yamanoka's position. However, Inoichi didn't look up at him at all. Instead, he chatted casually with Akimichi Choza and Noro Shikaku beside him, acting as if he hadn't heard a thing. Even Shikaku has this attitude? Hiruzen Sarutobi's heart sank. At this moment, what surprised him even more was that a mere commoner actually dared to talk back to him. Encouraged by Aino, Sakura also spoke up. Sakura Haruno asked, Third Hokage. Old thing, could it be that you embezzled the inheritance of Uzumaki Kushina and the fourth Hokage? Uzumaki Kushina joined in, demanding, speak, old monkey. Seeing people speak up for Naruto, Kushina was incredibly touched. They were all good children. Especially that girl named Aino Yamanoka, who had also received a reward. That hair color, could it be Inoichi-senpai's daughter? She just said that Naruto was very bad, and she liked him very much. Well, all right, she wouldn't indiscriminately attack Konoha then. Acha Mikoto looked at her good friend with some helplessness. She had already guessed what Kushina was thinking. But on second thought, she found it completely normal. Kushina subconsciously believed that she owed her son too much, so before everything was confirmed, she would try her best to make up for her child. Mikoto shook her head and smiled. Hadn't she also had such thoughts? The golden-framed screen continued. Time flew by, and soon, summer and autumn passed. Naruto seemed to have gotten used to his identity. Although he still felt sad and hurt every time people cursed and reviled him, he quickly managed to adjust his emotions. He kept smiling as he faced them, hoping to gain their approval. He was clearly very sad, but the next day he inexplicably felt fine, constantly grinning foolishly. What made Naruto happiest was that he had finally made friends. There were two of them, one named Shikamaru and one named Choji. They didn't dislike him, nor did they show disgust toward him like the other children. On this day, Naruto was running around the streets as usual. But today, the atmosphere in the village seemed a bit off. Shikamaru and Choji weren't playing in the park either. Helpless, Naruto could only go back home and stay inside. Night fell, and a heavy snow arrived as promised. Naruto, full of energy, naturally couldn't sit still and snuck out again. In reality, Naruto looked forward to the night because people wouldn't be able to recognize him immediately. He could wander the streets like a normal child. However, today's street seemed a bit deserted. Even the usually bustling snack street had very few people. Naruto just looked from afar and didn't go over because the aroma there was too strong. If he stayed there for a while, not to mention whether he'd be recognized, if he saw delicious food, he'd have to endure the cravings the entire night. Money was still tight, and most merchants were unwilling to sell things to him. In the blink of an eye, Naruto found himself owning the entire street. This was unprecedented, and the little boy happily ran around in the snow. However, playing alone, no matter how fun, quickly became boring. Just as he was about to continue wandering, he suddenly noticed a child squatting under a distant streetlight. Faint sobs reached his ears. Hinata, who had just woken up in the real world, was stunned for a few seconds after seeing this scene. Then, her brain, which had just cooled down, started smoking again. Chapter 26, Naruto and Hinata's Fateful Encounter. Hinata clearly hadn't expected to see a scene from the depths of her memory right after waking up. It was too embarrassing. Everyone would see it. Wait, will Naruto-kun in the black-framed world also meet her? If Naruto-kun in the black world meets her, will he help her? For a moment, Hinata was a little scared, but at the same time, she was also very much looking forward to it. Soon after, Hinata's big eyes rolled, and she fainted again from shyness. "Sister, what's wrong with you?" Hanabi shook Hinata, but when she saw her sister had fainted again, she couldn't understand why. The screen provided some historical context. A few days ago, the Hidden Cloud Village sent envoys to sign a peace treaty with Konoha. But that night, the Hidden Cloud envoys suddenly attacked, evaded the Anbu surveillance, infiltrated the Hyuga clan compound, and abducted Hinata while she was asleep. However, before the envoy could even leave the compound, he was killed by the Hyuga clan head, Hyuga Hayashi. This incident immediately caused a stir throughout Konoha. The envoys sent by Hidden Cloud Village were not strong, so how did they infiltrate the Hyuga clan? Then, the day after the envoy died, Hidden Cloud Village sent people again. This time, there was no tone of negotiation. They arrogantly pointed at the third Hokage's nose in his office, demanding a life for a life. They declared that if the body of the killer was not handed over, Hidden Cloud Village would never back down and would go straight to war. Unexpectedly, Hiruzen Sarutobi caved in and immediately agreed. He also stated that he would personally deliver the body of the Hyuga person who took action. Ah. I know Yamanaka's jaw dropped. This old thing. I dare say, he definitely did it on purpose. Hyuga Neji cursed, damn it. Onoki remarked, "Third Hokage, you're not a spy for the Hidden Cloud Village, are you?" The fourth Raikage burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. I told you, our Hidden Cloud Village also uses dirty tricks, but we always do it openly. During that time, Hidden Cloud Village was also going through a difficult period. In fact, if we really went to war, the outcome would have been uncertain. As it turned out, what we didn't expect was that this third Hokage actually caved in so quickly. Senju Tobirama sighed, "My heart can't take this anymore." Senju Hashirama asked, "So, monkey, you just let the Hyuga people go to their deaths?" Hiruzen Sarutobi defended himself, saying, under those circumstances, Konoha absolutely could not engage in another war. There was no other way. It was all for Konoha, we could only sacrifice the individual. Hyuga Neji snapped, "Shut up. You old thing, you say it so nicely. The greatest ninja village in the ninja world. Damn old thing." The screen continued to explain the tragedy, and so, the scapegoat appeared. Hyuga Hisashi, Hyuga Neji's father, was Hyuga Hayashi's twin. He was born a few seconds later and was branded with the caged bird seal. Hiruzen Sarutobi personally arrived and offered the Hyuga a dignified solution. Hyuga Hayashi wept bitterly, wanting to go to his death instead. However, everyone present knew this was impossible. As a branch family member, from the moment they were branded with the caged bird seal, they were born to protect the main family. After Hiruzen Tsurutabi arrived, Hyuga Hisashi slowly stood up, giving his elder brother one last dignified gesture. Hyuga Hisashi, going bravely to his death, only hoped that his brother would treat his children well. Today was the day Hyuga Hisashi died, and his body was sent out. Because of the caged bird seal, the Byakugan coveted by Hidden Cloud Village was destroyed, making it impossible to obtain. On this day, the Hyuga clan also held a funeral for Hyuga Hisashi. However, it was an empty grave. Little Hinata couldn't bear the heavy atmosphere and secretly ran out. But soon, she got lost in the snowy night. She could only squat helplessly by the roadside, sobbing softly. As if by fate, the little blonde boy appeared. "What are you doing, Databao?" The little blonde walked over, swaying. "Why are you alone in a place like this?" Naruto grinned, and with an arrogant swagger, he came before Hinata. "Don't just keep crying." Hinata looked up, her adorable little face covered in tears. "Where's your home?" Naruto asked, unable to help himself at her pitiful appearance. Hinata blinked, feeling her vision blur a little, so she shook her small head, shaking away the tears. Seeing this, Naruto showed a helpless smile. "You don't know where your home is? Well, there's nothing for it. Come on, let's go." With that, Naruto bent down and took Hinata's small hand. He led Hinata away. After wandering around, Hinata remembered the way home, but she didn't dare to speak. When Naruto walked the right way, she followed. When he walked the wrong way, she quietly stopped. In this way, the two little ones took half an hour to walk a short distance. They arrived in front of the Hyuga clan's compound. Looking at the large characters spelling out Hyuga, Naruto tilted his head, clearly seeing it for the first time. "You, with such a big home, why are you still crying?" "Unlike me, I don't have anyone by my side." Hinata was perceptive and heard the helplessness and longing in Naruto's voice, laced with a hint of a sob. It made her feel a little sad too. "But I never cry, you know." With that, Naruto turned back to Hinata, showing a brilliant smile. "Goodbye." He didn't linger. Naruto waved to Hinata, turned, and ran toward the dark street. It was getting late, and he needed to go back and rest. Hinata watched his small figure. In her mind, that reassuring smile couldn't help but appear. After a long time, the figure, which was incredibly tall in Hinata's eyes, was finally swallowed by the darkness, disappearing without a trace. Time flew by, and Konoha returned to peace. One calm afternoon, Hiruzen Tsurutabi visited, bringing the Ninja Academy admission application. The golden-framed screen stopped abruptly here. The girls watching still felt a bit unsatisfied. No wonder Hinata fainted. So it was because of this. She must still remember it. But the Golden World Naruto looked really handsome just now. If I had been like that when I was little, maybe I would have fallen for him too. Ino Yamanaka looked at Hinata, whose cheeks were flushed, and couldn't help but tease her. It seems Naruto is sometimes very reliable, Sakura nodded. Ship it, ship it. Naruto and Hinata are so compatible. Ino Yamanaka was stirring up trouble. Sure enough, Hinata's ears twitched. 3 seconds later, smoke rose from her head again. Ino's eyes widened, as if she had discovered a new continent. And inside the chat room, it had already exploded. Danzo even took the opportunity to get involved. Danzo Shimura stated, "Hiruzen, you have truly disappointed everyone. Because of your wrong decision, our Konoha has lost such a loyal and righteous person. Hiruzen, regret is useless now. Do you admit your guilt? How can someone like you be worthy of the Hokage position? Step down from the Hokage position yourself." Senju Tobirama barked, "You shut up, old thing." Senju Hashirama lamented, "You have truly disappointed me. How could Konoha, which was so good, become like this?" Uchiha Madara mocked, "You chose him, idol." Chapter 27, Kurama and the Hidden Truth. As expected of Minato-sensei's child, Kakashi nodded inwardly. Looking at it this way, it was no wonder Hinata actively gave Naruto medicine before. It seemed the feelings were already sown in their childhood. Kakashi habitually reached into his pocket, but the moment his hand touched his favorite book, Kushina's strict warnings echoed in his mind. He shook his head helplessly, taking a deep breath as if making a major decision. I shouldn't read this kind of thing anymore. I'll look for some good books of a different genre later. Because of the Hyuga clan incident, Hiruzen Sarutobi was once again denounced. It seemed the deeper they dug, the more inexplicable actions came to light. Hiruzen Sarutobi had learned his lesson and was playing dead somewhere again. No matter how Orochimaru tried to provoke him, he remained silent, as if deaf and mute. Jiraiya spoke up to defend Hiruzen, but even while defending him, the community still cursed the situation. The Konoha villagers' eyes widened. Clearly, they had never imagined that such major matters involved Hiruzen Sarutobi. The strongest Hokage, why would he bow to a mere hidden cloud village? Were there such hidden circumstances in the events of that year? So, the phrase "die to protect the village" could be used like that? As time passed, these foolish villagers seemed less resolute than at first. Conversely, the fear of Konoha in the hearts of the other for great ninja villages was continuously diminishing. The so-called first ninja village seemed to be nothing special. Thus, a group of people began shouting that Konoha's third Hokage was not wrong. They supported him to continue as Hokage, preferably forever. The scene then shifted to the black-framed large screen. It's getting late, I should go. Hiruzen Sarutobi slowly stood up. Looking at the young Naruto, who showed a longing expression, he smiled contentedly. The purpose of his visit this time was to plant a seed called the Will of Fire in young Naruto's heart. This seed would be very resilient. Once planted, it would take root. No matter how harsh the environment, the seed would remain alive. He only needed to water it at intervals, and in the future, it would surely grow into a towering tree. Of course, this was all Hiruzen Sarutobi's belief, and the Will of Fire seed in his hands indeed possessed such power. The compassionate Hokage could always rescue those children from dire situations. As for where the dire situations came from, there was no need to ask. Seeing Hiruzen Sarutobi turn his back with his hands clasped behind him in the posture of a wise man, young Naruto's azure eyes flashed with a hint of disdain. But he still suppressed the disgust in his heart, stood up, and waved to Hiruzen. Goodbye, Hokage old man. Hiruzen Sarutobi's old face showed a radiant smile. Don't forget my 2000 Ryo, Naruto added. Hiruzen Sarutobi froze. Before long, Hiruzen Sarutobi left. Young Naruto sat before the bonfire, watching the fiercely burning flames. After he felt the gaze of the Anbu ninja behind him disappear, he murmured, "The fox demon, is it living inside me? If you can hear me, tell me, do you have the power to make my strength surpass that old man and even lord over the entire village?" Within the seal space, inside the dark saw behind the ceiling cage, the originally pitch-black area suddenly glowed with a dazzling red light. A pair of huge fox eyes slowly opened like bright lamps in the night. Mai Terumi wondered, is that the nine-tailed? Sakura Haruno shuddered. Yes, that's the feeling, such a terrifying feeling. Rock Lee cheered, is this the monster sealed inside Naruto? It looks so strong. Senju Hashirama questioned, wait, I've had a question since the beginning. Can this thing really cause so many deaths and trigger this series of events? Senju Tobirama snapped, big brother. Ha ha ha, my apologies, Hashirama laughed. Acha Madara scoffed, it's just a small pet, this ninja world now acts as if it's never seen anything before. Acha Izuna muttered, big brother, you too. Madara huffed, HMPH, a pet, called and dismissed at will. Deep inside Naruto, Kurama roared, shut up. Acha Madara, you just wait. Black-framed Naruto will definitely beat you to death. I know, Yamanaka gasped, wow? It's a living nine-tailed. By the way, isn't Acha Madara already dead? The nine-tailed fell silent, then grumbled, Kurama. Naruto blinked, then couldn't help but burst out laughing. "Stupid brat, your name is even funnier," the nine-tailed said, clearly annoyed. The seal was only 3 years old and couldn't permeate too much chakra. So, within the seal space, the nine-tailed could only close its eyes again. To seal this fox inside a brat. Damn Fourth Hokage. But then again, this brat doesn't resemble Mito or Kushina at all. It won't be long before this fox breaks through the seal. Konoha? Many unpleasant images flashed through the nine-tailed's mind. Then, it slowly inhaled, drawing up the water on the ground. Might as well destroy it. At the same time, in the back mountains, not far from where young Naruto was, Hiruzen Sarutobi stopped. Any abnormalities? An Anbu ninja kneeled before him. "Hokage-sama, there are no abnormalities, and no one from the root organization has appeared again." "Good, I understand." You continue to watch him. Hiruzen Sarutobi waved his hand, and the Anbu ninja quickly vanished. Hiruzen Sarutobi walked toward the village, thinking to himself, his emotions are stable, but his guard is very high. However, when faced with curses and insults, he occasionally experiences rages that are difficult to control. Perhaps I can teach him the chakra refining technique early. The Uzumaki clan's physique, even at this age, can easily replenish the chakra needed for the seal. For a Jinchuriki, losing emotional control was a very dangerous situation. Hiruzen Sarutobi naturally couldn't let it continue. However, he was still a bit uneasy about letting young Naruto learn chakra refining methods so early. "I'll observe him for a while longer." As his words fell, Hiruzen Sarutobi's figure disappeared into the night. Watching the flickering firelight, young Naruto stood up. That familiar feeling of being watched had returned. Young Naruto wasn't disappointed that he didn't get a response from the fox demon. He had been trying to communicate these past few days, but without exception, there was no response. Young Naruto gradually got used to it, but most of the time, after confirming no one was watching him, he would silently ask a question. Many books record past events. That old man must know a lot, but he won't easily let me know. Next time I meet him, I need to act well, try to gain his trust, then take the opportunity to ask. So, how to gain the third old man's trust? Young Naruto pondered as he walked toward home. Chapter 28, A Smart Counter-Strategy. A Jinchuriki should obediently become the village's weapon. Rosa looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi on the black-framed screen with a look of disappointment, as if he were iron that couldn't be forged into steel. Like this, there are too many unstable factors. It would be better to just hand him over to Danzo Shimura. At least, in this regard, Danzo Shimura is the same as me. Things like family affection and friendship are all burdens for a Jinchuriki. HMPH. What if it's my own son? For the village, everything is worth it. Of course, Rosa did not choose to speak out and express his philosophy to the chat room. After all, not only did he make his youngest son the Shukaku Jinchuriki, but he also frequently tried to assassinate his own son, and in the end, even tricked his son using the life of his brother-in-law. Such behavior was no less severe than Konoha's leadership. Rosa himself had not expected that according to the gold-framed Naruto's timeline, when he was brought back by Edo Tensei, he would only need to remain silent, and it would eventually evolve into a narrative of a silent father's love. Time flew. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. During this time, little Naruto grew wildly like a weed, constantly absorbing nutrients. In just 1 month, little Naruto's weight soared by 5 kilograms, and his height increased by 1.5 centimeters. This was how he should have been growing at his age. His golden short hair had grown a bit long, but little Naruto stood. A knock came at the door. Little Naruto was startled. Who could it be? Besides himself, there was basically no one else in this building. Those ninja watching him disguised as neighbors didn't count. He opened the door and looked. Little Naruto was stunned. Standing before him was none other than the old man he had seen that night. Compared to that day, the old man's attire today matched little Naruto's guess. He wore a Hokage ceremonial robe and a Hokage's hat. With his hands behind his back, he looked at him with a benevolent smile. At this moment, little Naruto felt that most of the watchful gazes around him seemed to disappear. "Hokage, old man," little Naruto said with pleasant surprise. This past month, he had been thinking every day about how to gain the trust of the leader. He had even simulated it several times in his mind, but in the end, he rejected all of them because he didn't believe his clumsy acting could deceive an experienced leader. Then he thought, wouldn't it be the best way to act exactly according to the other party's expectations? So, wouldn't it be enough to act a little more enthusiastic and show trust in him? "Ha ha, Naruto, are you surprised?" Little Naruto nodded repeatedly, pulling Hiruzen Sarutobi into the house. As soon as they entered, Hiruzen Sarutobi's gaze swept around. However, Hiruzen didn't notice the vegetables in the potted plants behind the curtains and outside the balcony. Otherwise, little Naruto might have experienced having his vegetables confiscated. He didn't think much about little Naruto's physical changes, but looking at little Naruto's somewhat long hair, he narrowed his eyes slightly. "Look what this is." Hiruzen Sarutobi went straight to the point, putting down a bulging envelope. "What?" Little Naruto took it and opened it. He saw that the envelope was full of 1,000 Ryo bills. He glanced roughly, there were about 20 bills. "Wow! Old man, you're so generous." Looking at Naruto's excited expression, Hiruzen Sarutobi proudly stroked his head. "Of course. But you can't tell anyone, okay? Such preferential treatment is only for you." Little Naruto nodded heavily. Hiruzen Sarutobi was smiling, but his heart sank. He is so similar, too similar. If he lets his hair grow longer, many people might recognize Naruto's identity. The thought flashed, and Hiruzen Sarutobi returned to normal, showing a kind smile. "You need to plan the use of this money well, don't spend it recklessly. I won't be able to give you preferential treatment next month." "I know. By the way, Hokage old man, I want to learn to read. I heard that learning makes people progress, and I also want to understand the will of fire that Hokage old man talks about." When he first heard about learning, Hiruzen Sarutobi was caught off guard and was somewhat unwilling. But when he heard that Naruto wanted to actively learn the will of fire, he changed his mind. "Good, I will prepare these things for you. Someone will deliver them to you tomorrow." Hiruzen Sarutobi's smile grew wider. Little Naruto then recounted his life during this period to Hiruzen Sarutobi, tailoring it based on the will of fire he had heard that day. There was no outright deception, because little Naruto knew that the ninja monitoring him would definitely report his daily actions anyway. So, little Naruto only leaned his expressed thoughts toward the will of fire. He mentioned things like, "Everyone bullies me, but I don't mind. I will work hard in silence and gain everyone's approval." Finally, little Naruto's head had a flash of inspiration and he asked, "Hokage old man, can I become Hokage in the future?" In an instant, little Naruto saw genuine surprise and joy on Hiruzen Sarutobi's face. He secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It had worked. Seeing this, the chat room fell silent. Senju Tobirama sighed, "It's a pity. This child, how good it would have been if he had been born in the era when I was still Hokage." Achirizuna mocked, "He, and then he would have been entrapped and killed by your 4 disciples." "I'm so angry." Tobirama fumed, but he couldn't think of a single reason to refute it. Senju Tobirama's coffin lid was practically shaking. Sakura Haruno noted, "So smart. If it was Shikamaru, he would probably be like this too, right?" I know Yamanaka countered, "Hey, it seems Shikamaru has a pretty good image in your heart. If the roles were reversed, you would now see a Naruto lying at home, freeloading and waiting to die. That guy is too lazy to think that much. Knowing that the Anbu and the old thing won't let him die easily, he'll definitely stay at home. Going out to the street is too troublesome, lying down is the most comfortable." Noro Shikamaru complained, Hey, I know, you've gone too far." Akimichi Choji chuckled, "I think Aino's pretty accurate. Well, just kidding." Sakura's mouth twitched. Then, Sasuke's image appeared in her mind. If Sasuke and Naruto's roles were reversed. No, impossible. How could there be such an unreliable dead last Ucha? A moment later, Hiruzen Tsurutabi slowly stood up. Very good, keep it up. He smiled and left little Naruto's house, saying he was going to continue his work of protecting the village. Little Naruto's eyes lit up, and he quickly waved goodbye, promising that he would also continue to work hard. Hearing this, Hiruzen Tsurutabi's smile was radiant. He even forgot to remind little Naruto to cut his hair short. Chapter 29, An Invitation from the Young Ino Shikacho. Onoki scoffed. The funniest joke I've ever heard is, to protect Naruto, his identity as the hero's son must be concealed. Mai Terumi added, not just that. Kushina-senpai also said that before she died, she entrusted the third Hokage to look after Naruto. As a result, that old man accidentally leaked Naruto's identity not long after, Kurosuchi countered. Even she couldn't stand it anymore. If you ask me, that old man should just die along with the rest. Onoki thought to himself, what a family misfortune. This unfilial granddaughter, sigh, there's nothing I can do. Kurenai Yuhi commented, honestly, the black-framed Naruto really looks like Minato-sensei. If you remove the whiskers, he might look exactly like Minato-sensei when he was little. Kurenai Yuhi and Kakashi were from the same graduating class, and it was normal for her to know Minato Namake's due to Shinku Yuhi's position. Anko Mitarashi, standing beside Kurenai, raised an eyebrow. Minato Namake's? As Orochimaru's disciple, Anko had naturally followed her master and met many important figures. He's certainly handsome, Yuhi. Didn't you used to say you envied Rin? Kurenai quickly stuffed a dango into her best friend's mouth to shut her up. In the Pure Land, Kushina said angrily, he doesn't look like him at all. HMPH. When I'm resurrected, I'll dye Naruto's hair red. Otherwise, if he looks like that fourth Hokage, I'll surely die of anger. Ucha Mikoto was startled and quickly comforted her. Kushina, I think Minato also seems to have regrets. Kushina glared at her, her eyes turning crimson. Mikoto's eyelid twitched. Sister, you were a Jinchuriki, that's true, but you're already dead. The Nine Tails has also been sealed inside your son's body. How do you still have Nine Tails chakra in you? Could it be that you are still the main body? The black-framed screen continued. After Hiruzen Tsurutabi left, little Naruto closed the door. The feeling of being watched disappeared again, and the smile on little Naruto's face vanished instantly. He just felt a wave of discomfort, even a bit nauseous. Although he didn't feel the same malice from Hiruzen Tsurutabi as he did from others, little Naruto was still very resistant. That old guy just now seemed very concerned about my hair. Fox Demon, do you know why? Every time the feeling of being watched disappeared, little Naruto would habitually ask a question. He didn't know that the big fox, lying in the ceiling space, did indeed hear him. But currently, because little Naruto hadn't yet learned the chakra refining technique and had no chakra to use, he couldn't connect with the fox's chakra, so he never received a response. As usual, receiving no answer, little Naruto shook his head and murmured, I'll just pretend for a few days when I go out. Thinking this, little Naruto tidied up his room and took the trash out with him. He didn't go to crowded places. He was afraid that if he heard the insults and curses directed at him, he wouldn't be able to resist attacking them. Clang! After walking for a while, little Naruto suddenly found a dented soda can at his feet. Children's laughter echoed in his ears. He expressionlessly intended to walk around it. Because he had been deep in thought, he hadn't paid attention to his surroundings. Unbeknownst to him, he had arrived at the park where children his age liked to play. Hey! Little Naruto ignored it, or rather, didn't even listen. It must be more insults from those brats. If it were yesterday, little Naruto wouldn't mind ruining their games just because they ruined his mood. But today, he had just made a promise to the head of the village, so he still needed to exercise some restraint. Most importantly, little Naruto believed that he must learn to read. Without useful information from the outside world, no matter how much he thought, it would be impossible to deduce the history that had occurred, and his thinking would be very limited. "Hey! Please kick that can over here." There was no sense of malice. It sounded like a normal conversation between playmates. Being treated with a normal attitude was quite rare for little Naruto. Out of curiosity, he looked back. He saw a combination of a chubby boy and a spiky-haired boy who had called out to him. "Chubby boy!" Choji, who was eating potato chips, immediately rolled his eyes and entered a berserk state. But in an instant, because the comparison viewing prohibited all aggressive actions, Choji returned to normal. He scratched his head, a little confused, then continued eating potato chips and watching little Naruto on the screen. This startled Shikamaru. Fortunately, it didn't last long, otherwise, Shikamaru wouldn't have known what to do. Yamanaka giggled. "Phut! Isn't that Shikamaru and Choji? I didn't expect them to meet so quickly." Sakura Haruno noted, and the black-framed Naruto seems to be interested in them, too. I think I saw you guys playing house in the corner of the screen. You're awake?" Aino looked back and saw that Hinata had already woken up. She was looking at Aino and Sakura with a hint of envy. Aino immediately saw through Hinata's thoughts, her eyes turning into crescent moons. "Hinata, you're not envious that we get to meet the black-framed Naruto, are you?" No. Hinata stammered, unable to form a complete sentence. Little Hanabi tilted her head, unfamiliar with her sister in this state. But it felt fun, and she wanted to protect it. Clang! Little Naruto nodded. There were quite a few children who harbored no ill will towards him, but most of them would be warned by the children around them. Of course, little Naruto wasn't enthusiastic about making friends, and even found it troublesome. Children like these two strange ones were indeed rare. So, little Naruto kicked the soda can back over. "Thanks," Choji said with a smile, waving his hand. Little Naruto glanced at the two of them, then waved his hand without looking back. Watching little Naruto's departing back, Shikamaru was stunned for a moment. "Is that him?" "Shikamaru, that kid, he always seems to be alone. Can we ask him to come play with us?" Choji looked at little Naruto's lonely back and asked with a hint of reluctance. "Of course." Shikamaru thought for a moment and nodded. Dad said not to care about what other people think or say. If you meet a kid you like and want to interact with, then interact with them. Eh? Did Shikaku Oji-san say that too? At this moment, a somewhat playful voice rang out. "Ahum, Hinata, that's me from another world, not our world," Aino explained. "So, Naruto's gentleness still belongs only to you." Aino heard a familiar voice and saw that familiar petite figure on screen. She immediately recognized herself. However, she was very sure that she had no memory of this when she was little. She was also worried that Hinata would get jealous because of this, which is why she immediately explained. However, she had no idea how devastating her words were to Hinata. No, I don't." Hinata's mouth was slightly open. "Gentleness only belongs to..." Faint mist came out of her mouth. "Ah." Aino was dumbfounded. Hanabi blinked, then tentatively said, "Sister, the black-framed Naruto said that besides you, he doesn't want to play with any other girls." Hinata's eyes rolled back, and her soft body stiffened. Aino was speechless. "What a cute child," Yamanaka Rhino shook her head and smiled. She had also been that age, so she naturally knew how strong those feelings could be. Of course, it was also her first time seeing someone faint from shyness. "Wait," Rhino's pupils constricted. She quickly stepped forward, hugged Hinata, and pinched her philtrum. "It's Aino. Do you know that kid too?" Shikamaru glanced at the cute, short-haired girl. "Yeah, people in the village have been talking about him recently." Aino nodded. Then she looked at little Naruto's back and took a deep breath. "Hey! Do you want to come play with us?" Chapter 30, Still a Child at Heart. Oh my God, how could I? Aino lightly covered her mouth. Noticing the gazes directed at her from all around, she straightened her posture. They were just kids, what was there to be shy about? Glancing at Hinata, who was still unconscious, Aino paused. Wait, why does this feel a little exciting? The black-framed big screen continued. Little Naruto stopped walking. This invitation caught him somewhat off guard. Instinctively, he wanted to refuse, but then he thought, those who can accept me for who I am, it seems their parents aren't those foolish people. Even if they're not ninja, they're people with a certain level of insight. Perhaps if I build a good relationship with them, I can ask them to help me get some useful information later? Uncle Tucci and Sister Iam are just ordinary people. If those ninja monitoring me found out, wouldn't I be harming them? I'll play with them for a while first, and see if their parents are powerful ninja. But I still need to be cautious. If they bear no ill will towards me, I naturally won't harm them either. Thinking this, little Naruto turned around. He looked at the combination of the chubby boy and the spiky-haired boy. And beside the spiky-haired boy, there was also a short-haired girl with a similar hair color to his own. Any one of these three, taken individually, was different from ordinary children, but together they made little Naruto feel completely natural. Aino Yamanaka yelled, "Ho! This little rascal, he only accepted our kindness out of such ulterior motives." After speaking, she quickly ran to the railing, looking at Naruto in the arena. Waving her small fists, she shouted, "Naruto!" Naruto looked back in confusion. "What's wrong, Aino? You scoundrel, we sincerely invited you, and you dare to have such a utilitarian mindset!" Aino yelled. Naruto threw his hands up. "It wasn't me." "Hey! It was the other me, it has nothing to do with me." However, Aino ignored him and returned to her seat, feeling much better. "I really misjudged you," Choji added, nodding. Naruto sighed. Mai Terumi commented, although the black-framed Naruto's actions are a bit improper, it is indeed a very correct choice. Senju Tobirama chimed in, if they become friends, then isn't it normal for friends to help each other? Senju Hashirama agreed, Tobirama is right. Onoki nodded. This child made the right choice. Kurenai Yuhi added, yes, being able to guess the child's attitude is actually the parent's attitude. The black-framed Naruto's future will surely be very exciting. Little Hanabi listened to everyone's comments, then looked at the Naruto on the screen, and then at the tearful Naruto in the arena. It seems the black-framed Naruto is more charming. But that Naruto down there is also very interesting. Sasuke, still in the waiting room, couldn't help but clench his fists. Damn it! I won't lose to him, will I? What am I doing at this time? It seemed he was still just a bystander. The screen continued. Is that okay? Little Naruto asked tentatively. Of course. Aino saw little Naruto agree, then walked up to him and said confidently, we can play Kick the Can together, and if you like, you can also play a super realistic game of house with us. Saying this, Aino pointed to the small sandy area behind them. On that small sandy area, there were a few other girls of the same age. One of the girls was particularly noticeable. Little Naruto took another look at the girl with pink hair and a very wide forehead. Because, after seeing him, the other girl's facial expressions were somewhat unnatural, except for the pink-haired girl, she was looking at him with pure curiosity. My name is Aino, the girl said naturally. Little Naruto looked at the confident girl in front of him, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. Naruto! Uzumaki Naruto! As soon as little Naruto finished speaking, the spiky-haired and chubby boy duo also walked over. Shikamaru. Choji. After the three little ones introduced themselves, Aino invited him again. Come and play with us. Aren't you afraid of me? Little Naruto asked. Why should we be afraid? Aino retorted. Hearing this, little Naruto nodded. Okay, How do we play? Although he agreed, little Naruto quietly observed the three of them. Their words and actions are different from ordinary children. It seems becoming friends with them will be quite good. First, build a good relationship with them, and then see if the plan can be implemented. Listening to Ino explain the rules, little Naruto nodded seriously. It was very simple, just like tag. I need to control myself so they feel it's easy and comfortable to play with me. It's best if I can always beat it. Listening to the black-framed Naruto's inner thoughts, many people showed expressions of pity. This child was too smart, and too special. So much so that he couldn't have a happy childhood like a normal child. Iruka sighed. In a blink of an eye, it was already afternoon. Clang. That's great. Naruto, you're amazing. Little Ino excitedly ran to little Naruto, her face flushed with excitement. Ah. Don't be like that. Naruto, is this really your first time playing? The children excitedly gathered around little Naruto. Only one little pink-haired girl looked at little Naruto with a wronged expression. She had already been guarding the can for an entire morning. Just when she had painstakingly caught a few people with her delicate mind, little Naruto, like a phantom, suddenly appeared next to the can and kicked it away, rescuing the caught children. Sorry, then let me be it, little Naruto said, suddenly realizing that he seemed to have gotten too engrossed and accidentally forgotten his earlier decision. Iruka Umino laughed. Ha ha. Ultimately, no matter how intelligent the black-framed Naruto is, he's still just a child. Ino Yamanaka smiled. Yes, the black-framed Naruto gradually lost himself amidst our praises. TSK, such a cute rascal. Sakura Haruno pouted. Hey, why isn't anyone speaking up for me? You hateful Naruto. With that, Sakura also rushed to the railing and yelled at the somewhat smug Naruto below, Naruto. Who? Sakura, what's wrong? Naruto instantly switched to puppy dog mode. You hateful guy, I'm definitely going to beat you up. Naruto slumped. Smiles don't disappear, they just transfer. Mimicking Ino, Sakura felt much more relieved, and a smile appeared on her face. Naruto, in turn, looked miserable again. Chapter 31, The Cute and Fierce Ino, the crybaby pink-haired girl. War. Sakura couldn't finish her sentence before tears gushed from her eyes. Naruto felt a bit embarrassed. Sorry, let me be the tlit now. Indeed, making someone its for a whole morning was a bit much. Alright, Sakura, let's go hide quickly. Naruto will never find us. Ino saw Naruto's flustered look and knew he wasn't good at comforting people. She immediately stepped forward, took Sakura's small hand, and left. Naruto looked at Ino with a grateful expression, and Ino turned back and winked at him. Well then, it's my turn to be it now. You all better hide well. Naruto took a deep breath, calming himself down. Next, he had to be a good it and make sure everyone could kick the can he was guarding. He closed his eyes, silently counting to 60 seconds. Naruto slowly opened his eyes. In the park, not a single child was in sight. But with just one glance, Naruto noticed the pink-haired girl in the bushes. Sakura couldn't possibly think that if she hides her front, she won't be found, right? No, this round, I must let Sakura kick the can once, otherwise she'll be very upset. Thinking this, Naruto began to walk towards that direction. Where is everyone? Could they be hiding in the bushes? If you don't hide well, I'm going to find you. Oh, what's that? It looks like someone's foot. Wait, there's movement behind me. Naruto suddenly changed direction and ran backward. Hearing the sound so close, Sakura trembled all over. Suddenly, she felt a chill on her backside. Oh no! Naruto will find me like this. She quickly hid her exposed lower body deeper into the bushes. Naruto didn't leave. Looking at the trembling Sakura, he shook his head helplessly. Ha ha ha! Aino naturally burst out laughing. Sakura clenched her fists, her head down, her cheeks flushed. What was the difference between having her embarrassing moment seen and doing her business in public on the street? It's okay, Sakura. Aino stifled her laughter and patted Sakura's shoulder. But even though the black-framed Naruto had an agenda, he was quite gentle. Otherwise, someone would be crying again. Sakura still kept her head down and said resentfully, "When the comparison viewing is over, Naruto, you're dead." Naruto, who was watching with great interest below, suddenly felt a chill down his spine. "Shikamaru, I found you." "Choji, you're here." "I know, it's easy to fall if you hide here. Come down first." Before long, Naruto had found everyone. When they were hiding earlier, Naruto had paid attention to their favorite hiding spots. "Naruto, you're amazing. You found us so quickly," Choji said helplessly. "If you didn't eat potato chips when you hid, I might not have found you so quickly," Naruto explained with a smile. "Who? Sakura hasn't been found yet?" Aino asked in disbelief. Shikamaru rolled his eyes, his hands clasped behind his head. "This is troublesome." Seeing this, Aino thoughtfully followed Shikamaru's gaze. Sure enough, she saw the pink-haired girl hiding in the bushes. It was too obvious. In Aino's opinion, she could easily find her, let alone Naruto. Is this Naruto deliberately not finding Sakura? Then he must want Sakura to kick the can once and save us, right? Thinking this, Aino looked at Naruto with a different expression. "Sakura! You're the only one left. Please hide well and find a chance to save us." Aino shouted. The other children, seeing Aino shout like this, also cheered for Sakura. "I'll find Sakura soon," Naruto said with a chuckle. Then he deliberately ran into the distance, precisely where Sakura was hiding. Hearing the approaching footsteps, Sakura was so scared she didn't dare to breathe. However, she soon felt a gentle breeze and the footsteps grew further and further away. They must be hiding by the fountain, right? Naruto deliberately left a message for Sakura to hear. The fountain was almost the furthest location from here. Watching Naruto disappear from the corner of her eye, Sakura sighed in relief but still didn't dare to move. After a long while, Aino couldn't stand it anymore and quickly urged Sakura to come out and save them. Finally, Sakura mustered her courage and rushed out. Clang! Watching the can fly far away, Sakura's small face turned red. This was her first time kicking the can. "Sakura, you're so amazing!" As the childhood leader, Aino naturally wouldn't be stingy with praise. "Ah! Sakura actually kicked it!" Naruto quickly appeared, and everyone scattered again. Next, under Naruto's careful control, almost everyone kicked the can once. Everyone's faces were filled with smiles. Only Aino and Shikamaru noticed Naruto's intention. Shikamaru, with his hands clasped behind his head, walked up to Naruto. "This is troublesome. Let me be it. I can be it too." Aino came up beside Naruto and pinched his arm. "Did you really think we wouldn't notice? You actually don't need to do this." Aino lowered her voice, saying it in a fiercely cute tone. "Was I discovered?" Naruto was stunned for a moment. But on second thought, it was normal. Shikamaru looked lazy but seemed quite smart, and Aino was very observant. Moreover, he only treated them as children and didn't hide it too much. Didn't the other children, besides Shikamaru and Aino, all have fun? Yamanoka Aino smirked. "HMPH, did you really think you could hide it from my sharp eyes?" Achirizuna commented in the chat box, "This child, what a pity. If it weren't for that fool Senju Tobirama, the black-framed Naruto, no, both Narutos, would have grown up very healthy." Senju Tobirama snapped, "Are you never going to let this go? Is it my fault? If it's not yours, then whose is it?" Izuna shot back. Senju Hashirama interjected, "Mine, mine." Acha Madara muttered, Hashirama, it's good you know. Aino shrunk her neck. She didn't dare to interrupt these ancestors arguing in the chat room. And on the large screen, the game was already nearing its end. Naruto didn't continue to be it, instead, Shikamaru took over. Sakura, after Aino's explanation, also understood the situation behind her only time kicking the can. With Aino's exaggerated storytelling, Sakura was moved to tears. Soon, the crybaby was the first to be found again. Before long, Shikamaru had found everyone. After finding Sakura first, Shikamaru focused on finding Naruto. The game ended, and the children were all a bit reluctant for it to be over. At this moment, 3 people appeared at the park entrance. Is that the child? Yes, he's practically a template of Minato. Inoichi, Aino seems to really like that child. Ah? Shikaku, let's not talk about that for now. Is it really okay to let the children interact? Chapter 32, Tool Sakura is now available. It's fine, as long as our allegiance remains unchanged. The third Hokage wouldn't intervene over such a small matter either. However, that child seems more remarkable than we imagined. Look at him, he's probably eavesdropping on our conversation right now. Noroshikaku crossed his arms, a slight smile appearing on his serious face. After all, he's Minato and Kushina's child. Akimichi Choza's plump face also broke into a smile. Only Inoichi Yamanaka, watching his daughter chatting and laughing with Naruto, felt a bit uncomfortable. Sigh. Even knowing that the child was the son of the 4th Hokage, who died protecting Konoha, and the former Jinchuriki Kushina, Inoichi still felt his heart bleed. His little cotton jacket hadn't even warmed up yet, he hoped it wouldn't leak so quickly. Aino Yamanaka complained, "Dad, what are you talking about? We're all still children, we wouldn't think of such things." Aino looked at her father, rolling her eyes in exasperation. Sakura blinked. She couldn't help but think, if that's the case, then Sasuke will be all mine, won't he? But Sakura looked at herself in the screen and somehow felt something was off. In the Pure Land, seeing the black-framed Naruto like this, Kushina's eyes were slightly red, but she held back her tears. "I'm sorry, Naruto. Mom couldn't be by your side." As a mother, she couldn't bear to see such a scene. Her child bore too much pressure. He never saw himself as a child, and even playing with peers required caution. In comparison, Kushina preferred this black-framed Naruto. A sensible child always makes people feel pity and love. As for the gold-framed Naruto, Kushina liked him just as much. He was also well-behaved and sensible, but he was just too easily influenced, which pained Kushina greatly. Uchiha Mikoto sighed. "Kushina, you know. Those old geezers have always been wary of us." That night, when the 9 tails appeared, its eyes had the Sharingan pattern. Fugaku and I both investigated, and it was absolutely impossible for it to be one of our people who acted. After that, we were driven to the edge of Konoha, and due to our identity, the Uchiha clan members were not allowed to approach Naruto. Kushina waved her hand. She understood her good friend. How could she blame her? Plus, when Minato brought Naruto back, he had said that the one who acted was that damn masked man. It was very likely Uchiha Madara from back then. Reminded by Mikoto, Kushina's brow furrowed slightly. She voiced the matter. Uchiha Mikoto's beautiful brows also furrowed. A masked Uchiha. The 2 women pondered. The black-framed screen continued. "Seriously, why are you crying again?" Aino patted Sakura's back, a bit helpless. Then she looked at Naruto, about to speak. But she found that Naruto's attention wasn't on them, he seemed to be listening intently to something. Turning her head, she saw her father had already come to pick her up. "Dad!" Aino waved her small hand at Inoichi Yamanaka. Seeing this, Inoichi, whose expression had been somewhat gloomy, immediately broke into a brilliant smile. "Aino!" Shikamaru glanced at Naruto, then looked at his father. Is he concentrating on listening to Dad and their conversation? "My dad's here too." "Naruto, goodbye. Choji stomped his feet excitedly. If his dad came to pick him up, then they would definitely go to the snack street before going home. Well, then I'll head back too. Goodbye, Naruto. Shikamaru thought for a moment and did not extend an invitation. He knew that Naruto's identity seemed a bit sensitive, and even if nothing bad happened, it would definitely cause some trouble for his father. Naruto, I'm going back too. Aino hesitated for a moment. Seeing that Shikamaru hadn't made a move, she naturally wouldn't act rashly either. Goodbye, Naruto smiled, waving at the three of them. Watching the three of them leave with their fathers, Naruto felt nothing in his heart. However, soon, his lips curved slightly again. Shikamaru's dad seems even smarter than Shikamaru. Those things he just said, he must have said them on purpose for me to hear, and he noticed me eavesdropping immediately. Looking at the backs of the three families, Naruto took a deep breath. This way, he could obtain useful information through the three of them. The feeling of being watched isn't as strong as before. Is it because Aino and their dad showed up? Naruto shook his head, everything would wait until tomorrow. If he gained useful knowledge, Naruto planned to temporarily not use Shikamaru and the other two as a channel. Noroshikaku noted, a very clever child. He knew I said it on purpose for him to hear. Inoichi Yamanaka added, that's not the point. The point is, never mind, this child is indeed very outstanding. Akimichi Choza agreed, Minato, you have an excellent child. Minato Namikaze replied, thank you, Choza senpai. Uzumaki Kushina snapped, did I tell you to speak? Minato went silent. Ha ha ha. The yin half of the Nine Tails burst out laughing. This feeling, as expected of Kushina. If possible, the yin half would rather stay in Naruto's ceiling space. At least it wouldn't suffer. It's best to avoid provoking women of the Uzumaki clan. Otherwise, once you offend them, heh. Naruto looked up at the sun. It's noon, time for lunch. Let's go see Mai. Who? Sakura, why are you still here? The children who were playing earlier had all gone home to eat. Naruto hadn't noticed that Sakura had been standing behind him the whole time. As he was about to leave, she even grabbed the corner of his clothes. Thank you. Aino told me everything. Sakura's eyes were still a bit red, and she shyly thanked Naruto. You should go back quickly too, Naruto smiled. All he wanted to do now was check if his trap had caught anything, hopefully a plump rabbit. Where are you going? Sakura saw that Naruto was really leaving and asked subconsciously. To eat lunch, Naruto said without looking back. Wait for me. Sakura quickly followed. Naruto frowned. Is something wrong? Looking at this wide forehead girl with short pink hair and a red bow tied in it, Naruto still patiently asked. My mom and dad aren't home. They gave me a lot of money and told me to eat out by myself. I heard Aino say that you are very brave and strong and very gentle to people. Because you don't have a mom and dad, you're always bullied by those bad people, but you're not afraid at all, and you even dare to fight back. Seeing Sakura, who was inexplicably excited, Naruto didn't deny anything. Thanks for the compliment. If there's nothing else, I really have to go. I'm hungry. I want to treat you to a meal. My house isn't far from Ichiraku Ramen. I've seen you a few times from afar. And also, I know where to buy cheap and delicious food. Naruto stopped. Seeing this, Sakura added, can I also become as brave as you? You're going to treat me to lunch. Naruto didn't answer her question, but turned back to clarify. I'll also take you to a store that very few people know about. The owner of that store is very kind and won't bully people casually. Sakura's eyes lit up. Success! The things there are half the usual price, it's just that they can't be kept for too long. Naruto glanced at her, then left without looking back. Sakura stood there, a little disappointed. She really wanted to thank Naruto for letting her kick a Sodakan for the first time, for not bullying or mocking her, and for volunteering to be it for her sake. Just as Sakura's eyes were getting a little moist, a small hand waved in front of her. "What are you standing around for? Follow me." Chapter 33, Naruto's long-term meal tickets. No way. Sakura was stunned. She knew her own gaze too well. That look, no. Sasuke will be in our class in about half a month. Sakura, what are you doing? Suddenly, Sakura looked up. She saw Aino and Hanabi staring at her. And Hinata, when did you wake up? Wait, Hinata, why does your gaze seem a bit resentful? Hinata, that. It wasn't me. Oh no. Sakura's heart tightened. She quickly ran to the railing. Looking down, she saw Naruto grinning foolishly below. She could vaguely hear him and Neji talking. Ha ha. Neji, it seems Sakura falls for this kind of thing. Should I try it on Sakura too? Yeah, then Sakura will definitely be head over heels for me. Neji massaged his forehead with a wry smile. This guy, why does it feel like he's doing it on purpose? He was about to say a few good words for Hinata when Sakura's voice came crashing down from the stands. You idiot Naruto, give up. My heart belongs to Sasuke. Naruto's smile froze. Damn you, Sasuke. I challenge you to a fight. Smack. Neji couldn't take it anymore and slapped him. Naruto, you're at it again. Quickly calm down. Neji's expression was serious, but that hit was a bit too hard. Naruto's eyes rolled back. Did I use that much force? Wait. Neji suddenly paused. During the comparison viewing, all offensive actions are prohibited. The rules established when the system first appeared echoed in his mind. I can barely activate my Byakugan, so why was I able to hit Naruto? The black-framed screen continued. In the back mountain, Sakura was already panting heavily, her breathing rapid and labored. Naruto, are we not there yet? Little Naruto glanced back at her. We are here. As soon as he spoke, he stopped. Ouch! Sakura didn't react in time and bumped into little Naruto's back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, she quickly apologized. But little Naruto didn't react. She quickly stepped forward, following his gaze. She saw a pure white rabbit lying in the grass in front of them, its foot caught by a snare. Sakura covered her mouth and gasped. At that distance, she could clearly see the little white rabbit's heart beating faster from nervousness. Naruto, it's so pitiful, Sakura said with some reluctance. Little Naruto looked back at her but said nothing. Sakura lowered her head, not daring to speak carelessly again. Half an hour later, wisps of cooking smoke rose. Grumble. Sakura's sad tears overflowed from the corners of her mouth as she swallowed with difficulty. It smells so good. Is it not ready yet, Naruto? In the arena, Sakura groaned. Damn it. Why am I so pathetic? Sakura, you're such a bother, Aino teased. Sakura's face instantly turned red. Hinata pouted, looking enviously at the Sakura on the screen. I was the first to discover Naruto's good qualities. On screen, Sakura's eyes widened. This is this for me? She looked at the half-roasted rabbit held in her hands. This won't fill you up. We'll have to go back for more later. Little Naruto nodded, taking a bite of his portion. It was perfect in color, aroma, and taste, it just lacked some vegetables. No matter, someone would treat them later. Of course, the most important thing was that shop with prices more than half off the usual. Seeing little Naruto eat with such relish, Sakura stopped being polite. Delicious! Her eyes lit up. She had never eaten rabbit meat like this before. There was no trace of her earlier reluctance, she almost asked him to add more cumin. Before long, the two little ones had finished the roasted rabbit. Sakura still licked her lips, wanting more. "Do you like roasted meat from a picnic?" little Naruto suddenly asked. "Yes." Sakura quickly nodded. "Then let's go, that's enough for today." Little Naruto stood up and held out his hand. Sakura was startled for a moment, then shyly extended her small hand, placing it in his. After pulling Sakura up and confirming that the feeling of being monitored was very faint, little Naruto lowered his voice slightly. "Shikamaru and the others should be very interested too. If you like it, we can often come here for picnics in the future." Sakura blinked. "Aino will definitely like it, the environment here is very good. When we were in school, Aino even took us on a picnic, but it wasn't like yours, Naruto." Little Naruto's lips curved slightly. "All right then, in a couple of days we'll come here together. I'll leave it to you to inform Aino and Shikamaru." "Okay." Sakura didn't hesitate and immediately agreed. "Senju Tobirama sighed in the chat box, good kid. Is he planning to use those little ones as long-term meal tickets?" Mai Terumi countered, "Second Hokage of Konoha, you're wrong. Little Naruto can provide skills, emotional support, and also take those little ones to play, fish, and catch shrimp and crabs. If I had a friend like that when I was little, I would absolutely not mind using my pocket money to buy ingredients and go on a picnic with him." Aino Yamanaka agreed, "That's right, the Mizukage big sister is correct. I'm sure that even the me in the black frame world would have no reason to refuse." Noro Shikamaru added, "It's troublesome, but if I can fish, I think I wouldn't refuse either." Akimichi Choji cheered, "If there's roasted meat to eat, then there's no problem at all." Sakura Haruno realized, "So, I'm just a messenger." Aino wrapped an arm around Sakura. "You were the first to taste the black-framed Naruto's cooking, aren't you satisfied? Look how envious Hinata is." Saying this, Aino pulled Hinata closer. Hinata blushed, stammering that she wasn't, but no one believed her. However, after Aino's little commotion, the strange atmosphere from earlier disappeared. "Wait, Aino Nechan, you seem to have said something wrong. The first one to taste the black-framed Naruto's cooking shouldn't be." Hanabi's words were cut off by Aino before she could finish. "It's not a person anyway," Aino said as if stating a fact. Meanwhile, in the Tanzaku quarters, Tsunade called out, "Boss, I remember you also sell roasted rabbit here. Get one for me to try, and put plenty of cum in. It's best if it's roasted just like Naruto's in the black frame world. Oh, and bring a bottle of sake. Shizune, you have some too. There won't be any danger anyway." The screen continued. After little Naruto took Sakura away from the back mountain, they headed straight for Ichiraku Ramen. His money had long run out. During this time, he had been eating wild vegetables, roasted fish, snails, and so on. No matter how delicious, he was getting tired of it. He had just received money today, but little Naruto had other uses for it and didn't plan to spend too much. This was the first time someone had treated him to a meal, and he was very happy, so he chose Ichiraku Ramen without hesitation. "Yo! It's you, Naruto!" At this time, the ramen shop was already empty, the lunch hour had passed. Tucci smiled kindly when he saw Naruto. Naruto, did you make a friend?" Aim, hearing the commotion, poked her head out from the back kitchen. "Yeah, Tucci Oji-san, a bowl of tonkotsu ramen," Naruto said, sitting down with a somewhat reserved Sakura. Although her house wasn't far from here, Sakura had never eaten here before. Finally, she ordered the same ramen as little Naruto. Tucci even added an extra poached egg for them. After the meal, Sakura rubbed her somewhat round belly and led little Naruto through alley after alley. They finally stopped in front of a somewhat dilapidated shop. Little Naruto looked up. It was a shop that sold expiring food. No wonder it's so cheap. "Thank you, Sakura," little Naruto said solemnly. Sakura was taken aback by his serious demeanor and quickly waved her hands. Little Naruto smiled and comforted her. "It's okay, just don't walk with me in the future." Looking at Sakura's slightly reddened eyes, little Naruto felt a pang of pity. After all, she was with him, which was why she got caught up in the scolding from the villagers. It was mainly to gain the trust of that old village leader, otherwise, little Naruto would have long since picked up stones and thrown them at that group of people. Of course, although little Naruto would most likely endure it for now, he would never forget. These hatreds and angers would accumulate little by little. When his wings were full in the future, he would make them all pay. "No. I'm fine. Naruto, have you always been like this?" It would have been better if he hadn't comforted her. As soon as he did, the insults and curses she had just heard immediately echoed in Sakura's mind, and tears fell like they were worthless. Orochimaru observed, "Hearing is always just hearing. Empathy is difficult. Only by experiencing it can one truly understand Naruto's feelings and know what kind of life he lives." Chapter 34, Turning Point. Looking at the black-framed screen showing little Naruto gently wiping away her tears, the present Sakura admitted that at this moment, her heart fluttered a little. Coupled with the fact that she had changed her opinion of Naruto quite a bit after becoming teammates, his impression score kept increasing. However, it was still far from her feelings for Sasuke. Aino smacked her lips. Actually, Aino didn't have much feeling for Sasuke. She was a sucker for good looks, but Sasuke wasn't really her type. She only said she liked him to tease Sakura. And then, the pink-haired girl, who had always been a weak follower, suddenly became tough and even dared to declare war on her. This immediately ignited Aino's competitive spirit. The black-framed Naruto with long hair, he should be very handsome, Aino secretly nodded. That's right, that child is very similar to Minato. With long hair, he will definitely be very handsome. Yamanaka Rhino showed a look of reminiscence. "Mom, have you met Naruto's father?" "More than that, I also know Naruto's mother, Kushina. She was a very lively girl. Actually, when Kushina was little, she was also targeted by everyone." Hearing this, Aino rolled her eyes. "All right, Mom, when you say that, it makes me feel even more how disgraceful Konoha is under that old man's rule. By the way, Mom, what was that thing Aunt Kushina mentioned about the land of whirlpools?" Yamanaka Rhino was startled, not expecting Aino to ask such a question suddenly. For a moment, she didn't know how to answer. As the wife of the head of the Yamanaka clan, she naturally knew many behind-the-scenes truths that many people did not. Her mouth twitched, then she sighed. "This matter, speaking of which, what you just said is right. Under the third Hokage rule, Konoha is indeed a bit disgraceful." Mother and daughter were of one heart, and Aino felt the tension. Her eye twitched involuntarily, and she said, "Mom, it couldn't be. Konoha was also involved, right?" Yamanaka Rhino nodded. Aino rolled her eyes again. "Rotten Konoha." In response, Yamanaka Rhino could only shake her head helplessly and lightly tap her daughter's forehead. The Aino Shikacho are directly affiliated with the Hokage. So many times, even if we don't want to, when it comes to sharing profits, we still get our share. It's also the third Hokage's investment to solidify our allegiance. Yamanaka Rhino's meaning was very clear, and Aino was no longer a child, so she naturally understood. What else could she say? The screen continued. Finally, at Sakura's insistence, little Naruto returned home with a basket full of expired food. Sakura still felt it wasn't enough and wanted to take more, but little Naruto couldn't carry any more. Sakura patted her small chest and said, "Don't worry, I have a lot of pocket money." So, little Naruto had an extra tail behind him, and the refrigerator in his house was truly full for the first time. The food would expire in about 10 days. With little Naruto's current appetite, finishing them within 10 days was no problem at all. Uzumaki Kushina cheered, "Thank you, Sakura. You're so cute." Sakura Haruno blushed. No, Auntie, you flatter me. The black-framed Naruto is very good, but he's being bullied by those people, and I just can't stand to watch. In the Golden Frame world, Sakura had also helped Naruto many times when they were children. Otherwise, Naruto wouldn't have liked Sakura so much. Hinata panicked. Aunt Kushina? Aunt Kushina praised Sakura first. Oh no. On screen, Sakura looked at little Naruto's empty room and felt a little uneasy. But little Naruto was comforting her. For him, things were already very good now. If this trend continued, he would surely grow strong like those vegetable seedlings. The next day, in the morning, when little Naruto woke up, he noticed 2 books on the table. They looked quite thick. Little Naruto wasn't too surprised. He yawned and walked to the sink to wash up. He wasn't in a hurry, the books were there anyway, and he would look at them after washing up. Once he perceived that the feeling of being monitored had completely disappeared, little Naruto brushed his teeth, mumbling, "Fox Demon, we're about to start a new chapter. Once I know most of the characters, I can get a lot of useful books through Shikamaru and the others." Gulp gulp. After washing up, little Naruto prepared his breakfast first using the expired food he bought yesterday. There was a good amount of bread and milk. After warming it up slightly, he sat at the table, drinking milk and eating bread. Before his eyes lay 2 thick books. One was the 50 Sounds and Characters, and the other was the Will of Fire. Little Naruto flipped over the Will of Fire to check, and the author was the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutabi. 3rd Hokage? Saru. Hi. No rush, once I learn, I'll know that old man's name. Little Naruto took a deep breath to calm his excited emotions. When the book of the 50 Sounds and Characters appeared, he couldn't help but feel excited. He immediately flipped through it to read. Breakfast took half an hour. Afterward, little Naruto marked the parts he didn't understand with a pencil. We agreed on tomorrow. I'll take it tomorrow and let Shikamaru teach me. Shikamaru will definitely know. He didn't know why, but even though Shikamaru seemed lazy and indifferent to everything, little Naruto instinctively believed that he would know these things. Orochimaru smiled. That's great. We can consider this witnessing the black-framed Naruto's first turning point in life. Uchirizuna added, this child is really good. If only he were from my Uchiha clan. My Terumi sighed, if only he were from my hidden mist village and lived near my house. Onoki chimed in, if only he were from my Iwagakure and was Kurosuchi's childhood friend. Kurosuchi questioned. The 4th Raikage joined, if only he were from my. Uchirizuna started it, and everyone immediately followed suit. This made the original Naruto incredibly envious. However, he wasn't doing bad either. If he spoke up, and if Kushina's voice didn't interject, someone would immediately invite him to defect from Konoha and join their village. The screen continued. The entire morning, little Naruto spent it studying. He planned to stay home all day. Yesterday's restocking of the old refrigerator came in handy today. On the other side, in the park, the 3 little ones gathered as usual. Sakura immediately told them what happened yesterday. Is that so? Shikamaru mumbled. Shikamaru, what do you say? Choji rubbed his head. He was a little tempted, especially by Sakura's description of the roasted rabbit, which made him swallow his saliva. Such a drag, but fishing is quite fun. You can play and sleep at the same time, Shikamaru shrugged. This is a real picnic. And an adventure. I want to go. I'll go home later and tell my mom to give me money. Ino's eyes showed a look of yearning. That's right, we won't let Naruto pay. I'll ask my mom for money later too, Shikamaru nodded. Sakura's words revealed a lot of information. Naruto was poor, but he had skills like catching shrimp and crabs, and he was very good at cooking. That was enough. Besides, it was just a few ingredients. For the 3 of them, their pocket money was actually sufficient. I'll just ask my mom to get meat from home, Choji said. Why do none of you ask your dads? Sakura was a little puzzled. The 3 little ones exchanged glances, then gave Sakura a knowing look, letting her figure it out herself. Finally, the few of them lost the desire to continue playing. They were all discussing what to do and what to bring tomorrow, deeply looking forward to the outdoor activity proposed by little Naruto. Wait! Suddenly, Aino stopped everyone's discussion and looked at Sakura. Sakura, you just mentioned that you went home with Naruto, right? Sakura nodded. Aino waved her small hand. Then let's just go over there. No matter how much we discuss here, Naruto won't know. Isn't it better to just go find him? Makes sense, Choji nodded. I have no objections, Shikamaru said, his hands in his pockets. Finally, the three of them looked at Sakura again. I? What's wrong? Is there a problem? Aino asked. Grumble. I'm a little hungry. Chapter 35, Seizing Every Opportunity to Absorb External Nourishment. That's perfect. Aino thought it was something else. Perfect. We'll go try Naruto's cooking first. I'll go home and get some meat. Choji quickly said. By noon, little Naruto put down his literacy book and took a sip of warm water. Time to eat. Let my brain digest the content a bit. He wasn't in a hurry, rushing often leads to mistakes. However, after a short while, he heard a knock on his door. Pushing open the door to check, he saw the four little ones standing outside. Naruto! Aino's lips curled into a slight smile. This is... Little Naruto was naturally a bit confused. Wasn't the gathering tomorrow? However, seeing the meat Shikamaru and Choji were holding, he roughly understood. He smiled and stepped aside, letting everyone in. With Shikamaru there, things would be easier. After entering, the three little ones looked around little Naruto's residence. They unconsciously compared it to their own homes, and it was like night and day. Naruto, do you live here alone? Aino asked with a hint of pity. Little Naruto nodded, then took the bag Choji handed him. This was the first time little Naruto had seen so much meat, and it was very fresh. My dad knew I was coming, so he specially told me to bring this fresh meat. Naruto, I'm counting on you. When it came to food, Choji was extremely serious. Little Naruto was startled by Choji's intensity. Then, how about I cook it the way I usually do? Soup and stir fry. Of course. Choji's eyes lit up. I also prepared some vegetables. Little Naruto smiled and nodded, then went to the balcony to pick vegetables. The four followed him. They were all curious, asking questions left and right. Watching little Naruto busy on a chair, Aino and Sakura volunteered to help. Seeing this, Choji also didn't want to be left out. Shikamaru shrugged and was about to get a chair when little Naruto suddenly lowered his voice. Shikamaru, please help me look at the books on my table. I've marked the parts one don't understand. I think you should know. Hearing this, Shikamaru rolled his eyes at him. What a drag. Looking at Shikamaru's lazy back, little Naruto smiled. There was no sign of refusal, nor did he ask what kind of books they were. This also indirectly showed that Shikamaru was confident he could help him. Thinking this, the smile on little Naruto's face became unstoppable. Of course, it also indirectly proved that Shikamaru's family definitely had many books. Naruto, how do you do this? Aino's voice came. In the stands, Aino hugged Hinata, a little envious. Ah, that's so nice. I wish I had a childhood like that. If our Naruto here was also so handsome and amazing, that would be great. Looking at how things are in the black frame world, I think we'll be together often in the future. Saying this, Aino also comforted Hinata. It's okay, Hinata, maybe you'll be with us too then? Just wait a bit, when winter comes, it'll be your time to shine. Hearing this, Hinata lowered her head slightly. Would Naruto still save her? He already has so many friends, he probably wouldn't wander around, would he? It wasn't surprising that Hinata would worry. After all, this black-framed Naruto gave her the feeling of being too intelligent. It even overshadowed the excitement the gold-framed Naruto brought her. On second thought, Hinata's cheeks flushed again. Such a smart Naruto, he'll definitely discover my little crush. What should I do? In the afternoon, Choji rubbed his round belly and gave little Naruto a thumbs up. Then he lay on the ground without any regard for his image. So full and comfortable. Naruto, who taught you all this? Choji couldn't help but ask. This taste was no worse than any delicacy he had ever eaten anywhere else. Little Naruto smiled and poured everyone a drink. Tucci. I usually ask Tucci when I go to Ichiraku Ramen. Tucci said that once you master one cooking skill, mastering others becomes a matter of one method opens all methods. Oh, I see. Choji rubbed his head, not quite understanding what that meant. In the kitchen, Aino and Sakura were washing dishes. Little Naruto initially refused, but Aino insisted on showing off, so he let her. Naruto, did you learn all this in one morning? Shikamaru put down the literacy book, looking at little Naruto with some surprise. Was it slow? Little Naruto came over and sat down. No, it's just that you're too diligent. I've finished reading it, I can teach you now. For the rest of the time, Aino and the other two saw little Naruto and Shikamaru studying with such enthusiasm that they also joined in. At an age when they should have been playing, little Naruto led them all to study. And the four little ones' teacher was undoubtedly Shikamaru, who had already finished the material. Senju Tobirama observed, the Noro clan's boy is as intelligent as ever. Noro Shikaku responded, Lord Tobirama, you flatter me. Hearing the comments in the chat room, Temari glanced at the lazy Shikamaru beside her and shook her head helplessly. This guy was still so unmotivated. However, looking at Naruto on the large black-framed screen, Temari frowned slightly. Will the future still unfold like this? Temari remembered meeting Uzumaki Naruto when she first arrived in Konoha. At the time, she only thought he was a harmless little blonde. But now, it seemed this blonde's threat was not small. He also had a giant fox with combat power equal to Shukaku living inside him. The five of them studied together until sunset. Not returning home all day would inevitably worry their families, so Shikamaru took Choji and Aino and left first. Shikamaru, I'll trouble you to bring me some books tomorrow. But hide them first, I don't want those guys to know, little Naruto whispered to Shikamaru. Every time the feeling of being watched temporarily disappeared, little Naruto would tell Shikamaru some things. After Shikamaru connected these scattered pieces of information, he obtained surprising insights. However, he also stated that he was powerless regarding little Naruto's current situation. Little Naruto smiled at this. He also knew his identity was somewhat special, so he naturally wouldn't force newly acquainted friends. He just asked Shikamaru to go back and ask his father if he could bring him books. After seeing off the three little ones, little Naruto returned home. He saw Sakura standing there, looking a bit embarrassed. Your mom and dad aren't home yet, are they? A little Naruto proactively asked. Sakura nodded weakly. Then stay for dinner, and I'll walk you home afterward. Little Naruto naturally wouldn't let her leave like this. No matter what, the fully stocked refrigerator was the work of the pink-haired girl in front of him. Thank you, Sakura pursed her lips and quickly said thanks. Little Naruto waved his hand and turned to busy himself in the kitchen. Sakura followed him like a shadow, coming in to help. With Aino and the other two gone, the two of them were quieter. After dinner, little Naruto walked Sakura home. On the way, the moment he sensed the feeling of being watched disappear, little Naruto leaned in close and whispered, Sakura, for tomorrow's picnic, please bring me some books. Any books are fine, not many, 1 or 2 will be enough. If possible, I'll also trouble you in the future, Sakura. I still have 20,000 Ryo on me, but I also asked Shikamaru, so I can only give you 10,000 Ryo for now. Saying this, little Naruto placed an envelope into Sakura's pocket. Ooh? Oh, okay. Feeling the warm breath little Naruto exhaled as he spoke, the little pink-haired girl blushed. But in an instant, little Naruto pulled back. "We are here. You didn't forget your key, did you?"